for the first time in quite a while, I guess every so often it happens, I get a day off, but not a day where there's just nothing to do. I had messaged a few yearling outfits just saying, hey, can I swing by and take a look at your yearlings, right? A little bit early. And that in there lies the problem. Nobody wants to show you their yearlings in July, right? I had reached out to, now Josh got back to me, Josh Green, Spring Station. He said, Anthony, what? They're not prepped or anything. I said, I think that's the whole point. I wanted to go out and have a look at them. Just look at them in the field, talk to you about the horses, what you guys are offering this year, and maybe make some notes, whatever. And he said, yeah, I guess so. Could we do tomorrow at 11:30? I said, yeah, no problem, Josh. And at that point, it dawned on me that the reason I hadn't got any texts or emails back from anyone else was no one wants to be showing you yearlings in July, right? I guess it'd be like selling dresses that are half sewn. I don't know. They just don't want to. They don't want to do it. So, I am going to go out tomorrow to Spring Station. Now today, I'm on my way right now. Got a little bit of a later start. I'll tell you what. Every year, it's so weird. Every year when I come to Kentucky, I feel a little surprised with the hospitality level, right? And Lexington is, they know this is Horsetown, right? But, you go to the hotels, and it's not to say that I go places and people aren't nice. I mean, it's the hospitality sector. They're supposed to be nice. But it feels like they have it down to a science in Lexington. Whether you go to a nice restaurant and eat, I had a bite to eat last night after the races, and then come back to the hotel. Now, you guys know I got hurt on Saturday, and then I'm 48. I'm not 28, and I'm not Superman. Yes, there's a certain level of pain that I'm muscling through to get it done. But, I wanted to go to a hotel that had a hot tub. I felt in my mind, in my heart of hearts, that a hot tub would help. It did nothing, by the way. Zero. Nothing that a hot shower wouldn't have done. So I went through the trouble of, on the way down last night, looking for hotels that have hot tubs. I Googled it, and it would come up, you got the hotels that have pools. Then you'd call the place, say, by the way, do you have a hot tub? No, sorry, we do. We have a pool. The one place I knew had a hot tub was the Hilton in Lexington. And I just broke down. I said, you know what? It's close to the restaurants. It's close to the track. It's hot out. It just let me settle in. So I did. I stayed there last night. I come back to the front desk at 25 after 10 last night. My back was hurting me. My lower back now has a gigantic bruise. Well, not a gigantic bruise, but right at the base of my tailbone, this big bruise, and it does hurt from time to time. I didn't take any Advil or Tylenol last night. I didn't take any Advil or Tylenol this morning until just a few minutes ago, and so we're going on. Maybe I just wanted to see the true level of pain that I was masking, so to speak. And I better look at that. Oh no, I just told Haley I was on my way up to the barn. I wanted to make sure that she wasn't that I wasn't keeping her from doing something else. So I wanted to know the true level of pain that I was dealing with, and I'll tell you what, Tylenol and Advil do a very good job. It was substantially more than when I medicated. So I get to the front desk last night, 25 after 10, and a little bit stiff, whatever. And the gentleman was there, a super nice guy, and he said, I said, what time's your pool and your hot tub open until? He goes, open until 11. I said, all right, maybe I'll make a few minutes. And I said, I appreciate it, thank you. And I hobbled away, and I went down to the pool, and I watched Neptune race, 52 and a piece on a half. And you got to get him. I think Mike Wilder was right. Probably the Meadows is a better fit for him. So he raced good. You only go so fast. And it was a good night at the office, so to speak. All the horses raced good. We'll talk about them in a second. So I'm sitting there in the hot tub. I watch the horse race, and I'm just kind of laying there, and I hear the door open. And I hear the gentleman comes over, and he sees me in the hot tub, and he goes, "I remember you." He said, "You know what? I'm off the next 2 days. You stay here as long as you want." And I bet you, I don't think I get out of the hot tub till about 20 after 12. And I went back to the room and slept pretty good last night. Got up this morning, feel fresh. Number of text messages. I went in and I was looking for the breeding barns. You know, hey, yeah, maybe I'm coming out. No one, all crickets. The only guy that got back to me was Josh to say, you know, could we do it tomorrow? Which left me the entire rest of the morning into the afternoon to go see our babies out at Haley. So I'll give you guys some videos and some pictures, especially the horse that's up on our virtual block right now. Cover my short. I'd like to have a look at him and bring you some pictures of him also. Now, last night, you know, I woke up this morning. I had a couple of messages about a number of the horses, and one of the messages was, now you have to remember, I never got upset or anything, because you have to understand, when it comes to you, our clients, there's a vast level of understanding of the game or knowledge of the game or experience in the game. Some people have been in the game for a very, very long time, and other people have not. So somebody messaged me this morning and said, I thought the Hanger 1 raced very good. When do you think you'll be racing for more money? And I messaged back and I said, well, fair question. It's a fair question. But you have to understand, the top class yesterday went in 52-3 for trotters, 2-year-old trotters, by the way. And at any point, the middle class can jump up and do the exact same or very similar. I said our goal with Hanger 1 and with the other colt is to teach them how to race and not discourage them, right? And that was challenging yesterday. You know, as you can only imagine, put yourself in my shoes. You saw how Hanger 1 was all winter. You know how he can be. And I was not looking forward to him. It was funny. I had a movie just come out on Prime or Netflix, and it's one about bull riding, and really good actors in it, older gentlemen. And it was very fitting. You know, he's bull riding, you know, at 50, which you're not supposed to be doing, and gets beat up and busted up, and I said it was very fitting thinking of this, because I have no idea what's in store for me with Hanger 1. He might be really rude, he might be ornery and sharp, and I might be in for my own kind of rodeo last night. I had no idea what I was stepping into, only hoping that he would behave. And you know, I've always had I always liked Hanger 1. He's not a mean horse. He's not a rude, ignorant horse. He's sharp, a little stubborn, and is learning to do his work. And yesterday was a gigantic step forward for him to behave himself. Now, as I told you, his feet bother him a little bit. Because his feet bother him a little bit late in the mile, he's going to find a knee. He might find a jack. And that's where you see him get a little shuffly. Might sting himself. That's why you see him on that left line finishing up the mile. At the Meadows, he was on the right line finishing up the mile. I think he was on the left line because he maybe touched that left jack. It was bothering him, and he kind of drifted across the track. So as we go along, this is all going to be a learning process for him. But he has to be receptive to learning, right? It's very important. And yesterday went a long way to showing what he could be. It was only a mile and 58, but he did trot a last quarter in 26-4. He's a nice colt. So my answer to the person who sent the email was very polite. I understand that, you know, he only raced for $10,000 yesterday, but he is eligible to a lot. And the only way for us to get from January to yesterday to where we want him to be is for him to learn and be receptive to the process at hand. Some horses learn quickly and some horses learn slowly. And there's a lot of factors that go into that learning curve. I said I'm happy to report that yesterday was a huge step forward, and I think that we're going to have a lot of fun with Hanger 1 down the road, but I don't think we're going to rush into doing anything rash. You in regards to where we're going to race him and how we're going to race him. You're going to see a lot of the same. If I can just sit him in third, fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever, and let him trot hard on the end of it, I think we'll be fine. My biggest concern was that I was going to run into a problem like I did in the qualifier, where somebody was putting the brakes on and Hanger was getting a little claustrophobic, maybe a little anxious, and I had to put him on the front end. I don't really want to find the front end with Hanger 1 for quite a while, and I was happy with his trip yesterday. And in regards to Steady Volo, Daniel owns that horse. That's why the horse is in the Trosa group's name, because Trosa is also owned by Daniel. I just didn't feel there was necessity to pay the extra money to build a new group when both horses are owned by the same person. So Steady Volo is owned by the Trosa group in the program. So both colts raced very, very good yesterday. In regards to yesterday, also, I was very happy with the way that Greatest Ending raced. I was happy with the way that Chicago Hall and Neptune raced. All three horses looked like they had life. You can only ask Greatest Ending to do so much off a qualifier in 2 minutes last week, being off a month. And we have learned with respect to Greatest Ending that there's no rush back, right? When he blows a quarter crack, tend to it properly, or it's going to lead to much, much worse things. And I think that the tail end of that quarter crack being healed up was right before the qualifier when he tied up, right? We might have been a week too early with trying to race him, and I think the stress level of that is what ultimately caused him to tie up, I believe. So there has to be a process with regards to him. But he's at the tail end of that. I had a great email from Tom yesterday asking about, would he be able to go to Mohawk? I think he can. I think he can go to Mohawk. There's a series starting up now, where's it, 50,000 or something like that in 2025, and lots of decent to good horses fit that. But I think Greatest Ending is in a place. Listen, if they're going to go 51 racing for $7,000 or $8,000 at Northfield Park, he should be somewhere where we can utilize that speed. And I think Mohawk will be a good place for him. So you're probably going to see Greatest Ending show up in Mohawk's program next week. JK Victory raced well also. Jim had told me this morning, he said, I know it's not a lot of money, and it's certainly not what we're used to racing for with respect to JK Victory over the last few years. But first time I've ever seen him passing horses and looked like he was finishing hard. I agree. It didn't dawn on me at the time, but yes, not often do you see JK Victory finishing up his miles hard, and he was last night. So even after all the trenches he's climbed out of, and all the work he's done, and all the times he's been off and on, and hot and cold, and good and bad, here's a horse that was trying to pass horses on the end of the mile, which means we definitely have him going in the right direction also. So a great day at the office Sunday, great day at the office on Monday. Let's keep it going today. We don't have a busy day. Delicious Stone DK, obviously at some point somebody's going to reach in and claim this horse. They just have to. I'm glad. Just let him go to the gate every week. If you don't want him, that's fine. And I know it's when you look at his program and see that he's missed substantial amounts of time on his form, it's a little concerning for a potential buyer, as it should be. He's got that old lingering suspensory right hind. He had cracked a bone, I think, at one point, and then you have those nasty looking feet on him. I mean, he's just a little warrior, and for him to come around and start racing the way he is a true testament of the hard work put in by Dominic's barn. They've done a great job with this horse, and physically looking at him last week, he looks very, very good. So they've done a great job with him. But eventually someone in Ontario will be forced to claim this horse, and every week we got him. It's just hopefully another week he can punch the register, because he had dug us a pretty big hole after we got him, and I think they would have to leave him alone for a very long time for us to be grabbing any black pens. But at the same time, very happy with the way Delicious Stone is racing, and I'm sure he'll race good again tonight. And then Woodmere Bullet also racing tonight, looking to improve off a kind of a so-so mile as last time. Very green colt. I think Jamie saw it the same way I did. When he kind of backed him out onto cover, the horse didn't really know what to do, and it cost him a lot of momentum and probably 3 or 4 lengths at the time. So I think it was more the way the race developed last week than anything else. And I think Woodmere Bullet, you know, try not to be too colorful with him. I think leave, sit, finish is probably going to serve him a little bit better tonight in Summerside, and I'm sure that will be the game plan going in. But now tomorrow, that is when I go back to work. Now I'm kind of toying with the idea of going to a chiropractor, or going to get a massage today. I've never actually gone to either in my life, 48 years on this planet, and the Shockwave machine worked very, very good Sunday night before the races, but I don't know if I'll be able to coax Yvette into doing it down here. We'll see. Maybe that'll be my first option. Will be the Shockwave machine, and secondly, looking into a massage or a chiropractor. But I'm probably at about 85-90%. But that's more walking around in the race bike. Probably a little higher. There's a little more comfort sitting in the bike than there is. You'd think that would be the place that is the most discomfort, but it isn't. It's getting in and out of the race bike. So I got the whole day today just to take things easy. Gonna go see the babies, take some pictures, talk to Haley, catch up with her. We don't get to talk very often, so that'll be a lot of fun today. And then tomorrow, a number of horses in tomorrow. Now let's see. I haven't got the blood work back. Jason's not messaged me yet with Gymboree's blood. If her blood is not perfect tomorrow, she's not racing. It was a little messed up her last start, so as you can imagine, I mean, you saw the race. So we'll see. This is Haley right here. We'll see how things go when I get the blood work back today and speak to Jason and Dr. Latessa. But for tomorrow, pretty eyes on eyes, outside shot. Degas, I thought we entered her in the 15,000 class, but she came out in the 30, which is fine. She's 7 or 8 to 1, but you know, the one thing about her, she's handy, as Donnie Rankin used to say, handy as a shirt pocket. And you can leave, sit, follow. She'll do her work to the very best of her ability. She's got it all figured out, and what she shows is what she's got. So put her in a spot to do well, and I'm sure she'll do well tomorrow. Rock Shining Star, I sent Brady Brown one message, just a little picture forward tomorrow with Rock Shining Star. There'll be no retreat off the gate. That doesn't mean you need to roll him like I did, but he'll be raced near, on, or at the front end level tomorrow. 6 to 1 morning line's ridiculous. This is a horse that, yes, his form isn't the greatest lately, but I'm going to tell you what, he's a much better horse right now than his form shows. Yes, he got tired on the end of it. Can you blame him? 26.54, 121 into the 8 hole in a 5/8 mile track. Of course he got tired. He won't have to do that tomorrow. I think Rock Shining Star will be very good tomorrow. Don't ask again. I have no idea. I'd just like to see a good mile from her tomorrow. Jolene Hall. That's one of the more exciting drives for me tomorrow. I can't wait to see this filly race in Kentucky. You know, I touted her as being a good prospect for us in Kentucky. I'm eager to see her race, and I think she'll do very well. Zena Kemp's in a good spot also tomorrow. Eric said she touched her knee training over the Red Mile the other day, so we just opted for a line pole on the left and some knee tape, he said. I think that's 100% the right move, so it should be fine in that regard. A Jailbird Jog, 8 hole in a 12 horse field. I have absolutely no idea how this is going to turn out. I will be watching very, very closely, same as many of you. I'm very eager to see what kind of trip Timmy works out with Jailbird Jog. And then we have Resolve Indeed and Gymboree. Resolve Indeed, we drew blood on her today just to make sure. We'll have that back tomorrow, and should have the blood back today on a Gymboree. So we'll see how the end of the night plays out, but the middle of the day is going to be super exciting tomorrow. I can't wait for Kentucky. I'm here now. I'm at Haley's barn. I know why she was calling me. She was calling me to tell me the security code on her gate here. So I'll let you go, but not for long. I'm going to bring you some videos. I'm going to bring you some pictures and tell you all about my day here at New Pioneer Farm. Take care.